Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the 4 carry conditions of the 1911. Okay, so um, let me tell you what the conditions are, and then we'll discuss it a little bit further. The condition 3 is empty chamber, right? So when you come out of the holster, basically you have to rack the gun, right, and shoot it. So that's condition 3. Condition 2 is magazine in, round in the chamber, and then the hammer decocked. Okay, so what happens is when you come out of your holster, you basically have to cock your hammer back, right, and then you're able to fire. Okay, so that's condition 2, where you have a round in the chamber, but the hammer is decocked. Something that's not commonly carried today. I don't like it because if you slip the hammer and it falls a little too hard, it can basically it could set the gun off. Okay, but it exists. That's condition 2. Okay, condition 1 is the more well-known one. Basically round the chamber, cocked and locked. Okay, and then condition 0, all right, round the chamber, thumb safety off. Okay, so there's around the chamber, thumb safety is off. Right, so now for a safety, we're basically relying on the back strap safety. Right, so that thumb safety is off. So those are the 4 conditions for carrying a 1911. Okay, so now let's dive into this a little bit. Pick this apart. A lot of times today, people will debate on whether or not 1911s are safe to carry around the chamber. Okay, now regardless of how we feel about it today, of what our experience is 100 plus years later. Okay. Back in World War I, this was fairly new, untested technology, okay? And it's important for us to understand that a lot of the people carrying these guns, in the 1920s, 30s, 1940s, okay, they did not have confidence in this system yet. They hadn't developed that confidence, so a lot of them preferred to carry it on an empty chamber, okay? Now, again, we're 120 years later, 110 years later, whatever it is, from the point that this gun was invented. So, we have 100 years to look back on and say, hey, the gun is safe. But back in World War I, they didn't have that experience. Okay, so a lot of GIs carried the gun on an empty chamber. The other important thing to understand is that the holster technology had not developed to the point where it is now. Today, when we carry a holster, right, the holster is the safety mechanism for the gun, so that protects the trigger guard. So this is one of the reasons why you can carry a 1911 with the thumb safety off and simply rely on the holster to protect it. So basically, right now with the thumb safety off, this is just as safe as a Glock. Okay, because arguably more safe because it's got, let's say, the backstrap safety. Another debate, that's a separate debate as to whether or not that's necessary. With 1911s, I have found I've not had a problem activating the backstrap safety on other guns that use it, like the Shield EZ. I have found that people don't, basically it's not very forgiving. If you don't get a firm grip on it, the backstrap safety is not going to deactivate and the gun will not fire. But on 1911s, I have never had that problem. Basically, any amount of pressure on the backstrap and the gun will work. Okay, so as I was saying, with the modern holsters, the holster and the gun go together. The holster is the safety mechanism. Okay, this didn't exist back in the 1920s. Okay, at best, what they did is they had a leather holster and then they had this leather strap that would go across in front of the hammer over here. Basically, it was a hammer block. Which kind of worked. In fact, about 15 years ago when I was taking classes to become an instructor, I took my classes with a Beretta 92. Other people took it with Glocks. People had XDs in the class. Other people, so a lot of people had 1911s. Okay, I've noticed that in a lot of different classes that I took that involved pistols at different levels. People really liked the 1911s. One of the things that I observed is with the people that were carrying it in a leather holster that had that hammer block strap, it basically would roll like this, or there was a snap there. Well, sometimes I noticed that it would move out of position. Okay, so a lot of times people would think that it was on, and it was not on. Okay, the other thing that I observed is with the thumb safety. Okay, for whatever reason, it would get knocked out of position, and a lot of times when people thought that the thumb safety was on, it was in fact off. Okay, and I recall, I remember the instructors, right, that were running the class, they would basically make a point, of telling the person that, hey, did you know that your thumb safety got knocked off? And the student would be like, no, I didn't. Okay, so it's just a fact. I mean, it's just what I saw. That's how it happened. Now, one of the great things about modern holsters, right, because this is part of the safety mechanism, I can carry this in condition 0, but cocked fully, round the chamber, cocked, back, thumb safety off. All right, and basically this gun is just as safe as a Glock. Okay, so this is because of modern holsters. So that's an important thing to understand, that this didn't exist, whatever, 110, 120 years ago. Okay, I mean, it's kind of funny. I watch people argue sometimes on the internet about whether or not 1911s are safe or not safe. In my opinion, basically, a lot of the the firing pin block that's in the 1911 is very similar to the one that's in the Glock. Okay, so if you feel comfortable carrying a Glock with a round in the chamber, there's no reason why you couldn't carry a 1911 with a round chamber and feel equally safe, especially if you had your thumb safety on. Okay, now one of the things to be aware with the thumb safety, right? The problem with safety is sometimes they're on when you want them off, and they're off when you want them on. When you shoot the 1911, basically your thumb has to ride on top of your safety, okay? Because that's the only way that you're going to be sure that your safety is off. Because the tendency for safety is for them to kind of have a mind of their own sometimes. They go on when they want to, they go off when they want to. So with the 1911 safety, your thumb has to ride on top of your safety so that you will be sure every time that it is off. And that's regardless whether you use it or you don't use it. That's the only way to be sure that that the gun is going to fire. Now, another interesting thing that's worth mentioning, and again has something to do with the changing technology and styles. We said condition 3, empty round, empty chamber. Condition 2, round the chamber, you decock the hammer, right? You decock the hammer. I don't like it because there's a good chance that you're gonna, if your finger slips and it drops the hammer, you're gonna set the gun up. But one of the, when you come out of the holster, right, with the older designs, you see how this is like more of like an original GI version. This is the Rock Island 1911, which is more true to the original 1911 design. If you look at the beaver tail, you see how it comes down, okay, as compared to what you see in most modern 1911s, right? Like this Taurus 1911, it had the ambidextrous safety on both sides, right? And as far as you decock it, as far as the, let's say you carry this in condition 2, when you come out of the holster, right, this beaver tail can kind of get in your way, because it has that big beaver tail that comes up, and it can be a little awkward to reach that hammer, especially with this hand, and activate it. I pretty much would have to come up and use this hand and activate it that way. Okay, so on the original 1911 design, where the beaver tail points down, okay, if you're carrying it, round chamber, hammered down, basically I can actually reach over. Not that I would want to, but I can actually cock the gun. It's very uncomfortable. I can actually manage to cock it one-handed. I can do it one-handed, all right, because of the way that the beaver tail is set up. It's pointing down, okay, but still I would prefer to come out, okay, and again, because it's pointing downwards, it's a more, I feel that it facilitates condition 2 carry better, okay. Not that I would carry it that way, but I can understand how they came up with this idea of condition 2 carry, okay. So what I'm gonna do is, let me strap on a holster here and a couple of shots. So I've got 2 holsters here. These are both really good holsters. This one's from Craft Holsters, Falco. I did a review on this. I'll put a description in the comment section. This one's from, this one is from Concealed Express. Okay, also very good 1911 holster. I did a review on this. I'll drop a link below in the description to the other reviews that I did. Both very good holsters, but both of them, they cover the trigger guard. Okay, so the holster being part of the trigger guard, so it does not matter, if the, it does, basically this is just as safe as a Glock for carrying purposes because the trigger guard is protected. Okay, so let's strap this on. So this is an inside the waistband holster. Nice. One of the nice things I like about these holsters. Let's just take it off. So if I need to use the put this on. If I need to use the restroom, right? What do you do with this big gun, right? Well, you don't. It's kind of heavy. Basically, I just take this off. It's skinny enough. I can put this in my pocket, and you can drop your pants if you go to the bathroom. So that's one of the things I like about these skinny inside the waistband holsters. You can stick the entire holster with the gun in your pocket because if you need to use the bathroom, you don't want it hanging on your belt. But sometimes weird things will happen, like the whole holster will fall off, hit the ground, that kind of stuff. All right, so we're going to start off with condition 3. Okay, so we got a full magazine in there. We're not loading around the chamber. I'm going to holster the gun. Okay, so basically, come out, rack a slide, come out, thumb on top of this. All right. Safety on, gun goes back in the holster. Okay, so that is condition 3, where I had to rack the slide, put around the chamber before I could fire the gun. Okay, condition 2. Okay, there's around the chamber now, right? Because I just fired the gun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to decock the gun. Now here's the thing: you can't. Right now I have my thumb safety on, so I won't be able to decock the gun. So I have to take my thumb safety off, use my fingers there, and then slowly decock the hammer. Okay. Put the gun back. There you go, back in the holster. So now to draw, I'm going to come up. I'm going to basically rack, cock the hammer, fire the gun. Okay, so condition 2: come out of the holster, cock the hammer, come out, safety on. Okay, so now the gun is already set up for condition 1. Round the chamber, and the thumb safety is on. Put that in the holster. Okay, so that is, now we're up to condition 1, round the chamber and thumb safety on. Right. Okay. Easy stuff. Right, now for condition 0. Condition 0, I'm going to basically leave the thumb safety off, okay, and I'm going to holster the gun, okay, with the thumb safety off. So notice, because it's in the Kydex holster, it doesn't matter what I do to this gun. I can hit it. It's not going to get activated because the holster protects the trigger guard. So this is now condition 0. Okay, round the chamber, hammer cocked, but the thumb safety off. However, when I come out, I'm still going to ride my thumbs on top of that safety because that's the only way to be sure I didn't accidentally put it on at some point, throughout the day. So let's do that. Come out. Safety back on. All right, so those are our 1911 carry conditions. So again, it does not matter how you and I might feel with regards to the safety, the safety concerns of carrying a 1911 with around the chamber. Back in the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, people at that time didn't have the same confidence that we have in the gun today. So a lot of them preferred to carry it without around the chamber or with the hammer down. Okay, so I hope you guys found this video useful. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.